Hi everyone, my name is Nancy and I'm here for a little kids yoga session. Miss Beth and Miss Christina helped set this up so we could have this session while you guys are at home. And you can pause the video at any time and then restart it if you need to do something or leave the room. And first, you may want to pause to set up your space if you don't already have it set up. But what we want to look for is something like a yoga mat or even a small mat or rug that you might have that you could sit on and make that space so that if there are other people in the room with you who are also doing some of the yoga, that you have your own space and you're not moving into each other's space. And also sometimes, mostly adults, aren't very comfortable sitting on the floor, so we can use a nice firm little pillow like this and put it underneath and sit on the edge of it kind of, and that raises the spine for anyone who finds it uncomfortable to just sit flat on the floor. And you can, so I'm going to let you, oh, and take off your shoes too. So we want to have bare feet. And so you can feel the earth. So you can take a moment to pause the video if you like right now to set up your space. And then when we start now, again, we'll just think about some of the things that we're going to be doing. So you're going to sit in that comfortable pose, whatever that is right now. You can have legs stretched out. You can have legs crossed. You can have the pillow beneath you. You can be supporting your back against a piece of furniture. Again, if the back is sore or it doesn't feel good to sit just directly on the floor. And we're just going to think about sitting. We want to think about just letting our hands be loose. They could be in your lap or on your knees, just so we can notice that we're not, holding a lot of tension in the hands, or even the toes will curl up and we don't even notice it. But that's one way of learning to relax ourselves too, by like just checking your fingers and your toes and wiggling them around a little bit, and even your shoulders. And then we have some things that we can use to kind of help us and or just guide us along. This is a kids yoga deck, they call it, but there are other books and things for kids. And this gives cards that have the picture drawing of the pose and then an explanation on the back of the poses. So just going into a little bit of why we do these things. We can go to the word yoga itself. It's a Sanskrit word. That's a very ancient language that the first yoga masters used. And the word yoga comes from the Sanskrit root yuj, Y-U-J, and that means to join. And what they're talking about joining is body, mind, and spirit, so that we have an awareness that we're not just a body, like this little mechanism walking around, but we have a connection with what we call the mind. The mind has the connection with the spirit. We use the body in our yoga poses or postures or asanas, whatever you would like to call them, to get the body in a comfortable position so that you can sit quietly when you want to, perhaps without a backache or without a headache, or just feeling comfortable so that you can sit quietly. You can focus on some of the tools that yoga gives us, like breathing, which helps to release tension or nervousness, or just if we're feeling a little restless or concerned about things, we can sit quietly and just be able to breathe and relax. And it can be for a really, really brief time, and you can still feel that release, or you can do it for longer periods of time. And when we do that calming, that centering for longer periods of time, people may call it meditation. And really all meditation is sitting quietly, closing our eyes, sitting quietly, just letting the breath flow through us. and letting the spirit kind of speak to us from within. We'll feel how nice that feels. So that is the purpose of yoga, to join all three parts of our being. So we're going to start with a couple of things for the body. So hopefully you're sitting comfortably now, either on the floor or in a chair. And we're going to do what these cards call the flower pose, and we might just call it the calming and centering, because we're going to think about the flower. We're going to compare it to the breath, like the flower drawing energy and life from the earth. So as we sit quietly and just again having the hands loosely in the lap or on the knees, and then the eyes gently close. We're going to think about the breath. And first, just take a nice, slow, deep breath. Inhaling as though you were sipping that breath in through the nostrils into the lungs. And then exhaling and exhaling that air, that prana, completely. Prana is, again, a Sanskrit word for breath. And the breathing exercises are pranayama. And yoga tells us that prana is the energy of the universe, the creative energy of the universe. And that's why we pay close attention to the breath. We are part of that creation, and we can use that breath to create different places and kinds of reactions within ourselves. So we're going to again close the eyes gently as we take that nice slow breath through the nostrils, sipping it down into the lungs. We can visualize as though we have roots growing into the earth, water flowing up through the spine, through the body, which is like the stem of the flower, blooming into a blossom overhead. And when you're exhaling, you're just allowing that energy to flow back out of your nostrils back into the earth. And then inhaling, allowing that energy to flow up the stem of your body into the blossom of a beautiful flower. Exhaling, and one more time, inhaling, sipping that air, that prana energy into your body. Exhaling and letting it release and release and release. And then you can just gently open your eyes. And we're going to be doing the next pose called the rock. And we call it the child's pose also. And you may already know this pose. You may have had it in school. Sometimes they do some of these things in some classes, or you may have seen it on TV, or perhaps someone you know does yoga. So the rock pose, or the child's pose, is a release type of pose. So that is a comfort pose. So we're saying we tuck ourselves in, kind of like a baby or a child, a toddler might tuck themselves into a little tight ball, and just to feel comforted. So with the child's pose, we start out by sitting on the heels. So we're going to move into that position. You're going to come up and just settle down onto the heels. You're going to open up the knees a bit, maybe just 2 fists apart. The toes are touching beneath your body. And then we're going to be coming forward. So I'll just give you the instructions first. So we'll be coming forward with crossed arms, and then we'll be bringing our heads down. So because you may not hear me if I'm leaning forward. So we're going to inhale. And as you exhale, moving forward, allowing the arms to cross in front of you, coming down to the floor, and then dropping the head. So your head, as you stay in this pose, I'm coming up, but you're going to stay in the pose. So the head is resting on the arms. Now notice your breath. just as you're in this position, kind of tucked in nice and comfortably. And you can let go of any nervousness or anxiety or just anxiousness that you might feel. Even if you've been exercising and the body feels a little exhausted, you can come into this pose. And the yoga breath helps to bring oxygen into the body and avoid building up what they call lactic acid in the muscles. And that's what makes the muscles feel very tired and sometimes even quivering if you've done excessive energy kind of poses or exercises. And then inhaling, you can raise the torso back up into the sitting position. And then we're going to, again, just come off the heels. We're going to stretch the legs out in front of you. And we're going to do a pose, it's just a forward bend. And we like to think about the spine, the main channel of communication through the body. So we want to keep the spine nice and flexible. There's spaces between the vertebrae. Just picture the spine as a stack of blocks very firmly built one on top of the other, but there's that space in between each block. So that we like to think about the spine opening up when we're doing those kind of stretches. Okay, so we're just starting out with the legs extended. The hands can be just alongside the body. We're going to inhale the arms up and over the head. And then we're going to exhale and just let the body hinge forward so that we're picturing the spine growing long, 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 long. We're going to picture the face parallel with the legs. That is just straight over top of the legs. But we're going to picture the top of the head stretching out towards the wall or the space in front of you. And then release your shoulders. Just let them relax. And let your face relax. But visualize the spine starting from the very, very base, bottom of the spine, just opening up as you breathe. That spine comes up your back, through your neck, right out through the top of your head. And that's just a visualization. And we use those visualizations to help guide the body, because the body and the mind work together. So what we visualize, we can achieve. And then releasing. We're going to inhale, breathing in, letting the body rise with the breath and the arms come back overhead. And we're going to exhale them down. And breathe. And let's do one more round. Inhaling, arms up. And remember, you can always do 3 rounds. You can hold longer. Exhaling, hinging forward, visualizing the spine growing from the very bottom, growing up through the back, through the neck, right out through the top of the head. And you can release your shoulders. You can relax your face. You can breathe, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And then we're going to inhale, releasing the hands off the legs. Again, we're coming back up. We always like to do a complete movement so that if we're going up with the arms up ahead, overhead, we bring them down. And relax. Okay, and then we have another position, a pose that we call the butterfly. And that is bringing the soles of the feet together. And this helps to open up the thigh muscles and the hips so that we can, really move around very comfortably. We don't get stiff and not like to get down on the floor anymore. So we have the hands, inner fingers interlaced and capped over the tops of the toes. And then we're just going to try to straighten the spine a little bit, not hunching over too much. We want to be fairly straight. We'll be slightly tilted forward because of this position. and just having your heels in as close to the body as is comfortable for you. And now we're going to inhale. And we're going to think about the muscles in the thighs. And we're going to exhale. We're going to let those muscles push down as though they were pushing towards the floor and out away from the body. And then inhaling, we're going to relax, relax, relax. I'm going to inhale again. Exhaling, just in your mind's eye, visualizing those muscles pushing out and down. And you can feel those thigh muscles going into your hips, opening up, and relax them. And inhale one more time. And exhale, just letting the muscles reach out and down. And bit by bit by bit, if they're a little bit stiff, they'll get looser. And they'll stay loose, and you'll always be able to move easily. And release. Okay. And just again in a sitting pose, either with the legs out, or if you're like sitting cross-legged, you can go back into a cross-legged position, or even sitting on your heels. And we're just going to do a little energy movement with the arms. So we're just going to have the hands in whatever seated position you're in. We're going to have the hands alongside the body. We're going to inhale, arms up over the head, fingers pointing up towards the ceiling. Exhaling, feel if you let the breath go slowly, the arms move slowly. Body and mind working together. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling, arms with the breath, moving up, overhead. Exhaling, arms just release and move with the breath. And I lied, we're going to do one more time. Inhaling, arms coming up and over the head. Exhaling, let everything release. Take a breath. Notice the body without criticism, without judgment. Just noticing, how does it feel? Inhaling up. We're going to bring the hands together. You can keep them palm to palm, steepled, or interlaced. We take another inhalation, keeping the head between the frame of the arms. And then exhaling, we're going to tilt the upper body only from the waist up. We're still seated very squarely on the mat. Inhale up, exhale over. Inhale up, exhale over. Our head in between the arms. Inhale up, exhale over. Up one more time. Exhale over. Inhale back up to neutral. And exhale everything down. So we've done some things for the lower part of the body, and now just done something for the upper part of the body and the shoulders where you keep tension. And you can always roll your shoulders after you do anything to just loosen them up. We're going to do one more shoulder and chest type of opener, because we like to keep the chest muscles open, and it helps us with our posture, keeping the shoulders back, so they don't become an issue or a problem for us. And by opening up the chest muscles, that leaves more room for the lungs to be able to expand in. So, and being able to breathe deeply and completely, nice deep breaths, really helps to keep from feeling anxious, because short breaths make us anxious. We're getting less oxygen, and it's kind of a vicious cycle that we get into. So we're just going to inhale and bring the hands up to the shoulders. We're going to try to have the arms just parallel with the floor, so they're not drooped down here or up around the ears. And if for any reason this is really uncomfortable, you can just place your hands in this movement on the top of the chest. We'll inhale, exhale. It's like swinging gates closing. They don't have to go all the way. And then inhaling, we're opening up those gates all the way. And then exhaling, just notice how that feels in your arms and your shoulders. Inhale all the way open. Then exhaling all the way, inhaling. Open, open, open. And then exhaling, we're just going to release the arms down. Let them relax. Again, if you need to roll the shoulders, go ahead and do that, forward and back. Take a breath. Okay, so now we're going to come up into the standing position, but if you'd like to have a neat little way of coming up off the floor, I'm going to come to the side so you can see what I'm doing. So the knees, we're just bent there, and the toes are flat to start, and then the hands are alongside the body, flat on the mat alongside the body. And then as I kind of push up off the heels, I'm going to curl the toes under and rock back onto the balls of the feet. And then with my hands and with my feet, I can push up a bit, straighten out the knees, bring the hands in and unroll the body. Slow, 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 like unrolling a roll of paper or unrolling a rug. And then we're at our standing position. And in the standing position, again, we want to think about the balance of the body. So hopefully, you're able to have the feet parallel rather than having the toes pointed out or in, because this way the bones and the muscles all stay in their proper alignment. And that's what we always want to do, the spine and everything in alignment. So this pose, they call it sunrise on the cards, and it's what we call the sun salutation or the sun greeting. So we're going to think about, visualize that we're standing in a really beautiful, sunny place. Just close your eyes, visualize, maybe at the beach, sun in the sky shining down on you. Maybe you go to a lake, or maybe you're just in your own backyard. But just hold that visualization. And now we're going to inhale. We're going to inhale the arms up and over the head. We're going to allow the palms of the hands to reach up towards that sun, that warmth, that energy. Just let that energy pour into the body. And in the body, we have that little arch in the back. We're not throwing the head all the way back. We're just looking up towards the palms of the head, but we get a little bend in the back. And then exhaling, we're going to allow the body to flow down toward the legs. And you can bend your knees to get the hands, and the hands can be wherever is comfortable. Thighs, knees, calves, ankles, and then drop the head as long as that is comfortable for you and you have no issues with the neck or with vertigo. And breathe and feel the firmness of your feet into the mat. The strength running up your legs, holding the whole upper part of your body steady and stable. And you have that strength. And then releasing the legs, using the core muscles, middle of your body, to rise up with the breath. And the arms again coming up in that greeting to the sun. And then exhaling, making an arc over the body, just allowing the arms to come down and release. And breathe, take a breath. Just notice your body. Don't have to look at anything else. You're just feeling what you feel inside. And you're the only person. I can't tell you how to feel. I can't tell you what's best for your body. You have to observe your body to learn that. And for our second round, we're going to be ready. We're going to inhale the arms up and over the head. We're going to bring the hands, palms outward towards the sun, looking up, feeling that energy and warmth on the hands. We're going to exhale, allow the body to flow down toward the legs, holding on, bending the knees if necessary to be comfortable. And just breathe shallowly, let the head drop. Feel the strength in your feet, your legs, your entire body, receiving all that energy from the sun. And then you're going to release the legs, pushing down into the feet. That energy moves up the body. Arms come over the head. Again, we feel the warmth on the palms of the hands just flowing into the palms. And now as we exhale, we're going to bring that energy down over the body as though we were covering the body like a cocoon in a veil of light and energy. You can even feel that energy in the palms of your hands. And breathe. And now we're going to come down. You can lie down on the mat, or if that's uncomfortable for you, then you can remain sitting or in a chair, even stretched out on a sofa or a bed. So we're going to come down. I'm going to sit so that you can hear me, but we're going to be ready for some breathing and some relaxation. Again, wonderful tools to use for yourself. If you have trouble falling asleep, you can do these kinds of techniques and they'll help you fall asleep. So again, just lying on the floor. If you're lying on the floor, just visualize your body, head, neck, trunk, in that straight line. Just, we say, erect but relaxed. And then allow your shoulders to just sink down into the floor, your face relax. We're going to allow the whole body to relax. And before we go into our guided meditation, we're going to do a little bit of the deep breathing, the prana, the diaphragmatic breath. And we're going to think about that area. If you place your hand on your belly, just beneath your ribs, that muscle is the diaphragm. And we're going to allow that diaphragm to release outward when we breathe. It's kind of the opposite of breathing in and everything being sucked inward. So as we start to inhale through the nostrils as though we were sipping the breath in and down the back of the throat, the lungs start to expand and that belly, that diaphragm moves outward against the hand. And then when we're exhaling, the breath comes back up and out the lungs like water pouring out of a glass. Inhaling, like blowing up a balloon in your belly. Exhaling, like letting water flow out of the glass. 2 more times. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. And feel your body just releasing down into the floor, into the mat. Your shoulders sinking down into the mat. Your belly softening. Your feet releasing. You can relax your forearms. forehead so that it smooths out. You can relax the skin of your face and let your eyes soften. You can think about your jaw and let it go slack. Lips just feel soft. And that relaxation flows down over your shoulders, down over your arms, and through your hands and your fingers, down through the bones and muscles of the hips and thighs, all the way down the legs, into the feet and the toes, so that all the muscles, the organs, the bones are released, are relaxed, are softened. Breathing in and breathing out. And then you're going to feel as though your body is so light, so relaxed, as though you were floating on a cloud beneath a beautiful blue sky. You see other clouds floating past you. You can look down and see the earth and all the shapes and colors of the planet beneath you. You can visualize yourself floating over treetops, even floating over mountaintops. And you feel as though your body were so released, relaxed, that you were that white cloud, just moving, drifting, flowing, shaping and reshaping through the sky and floating over a crystal clear lake. You can look down and you can see yourself reflected in the surface of the lake, and you can see yourself completely free, completely happy, no fears, no worries, no anxieties. And then gently dismissing all thoughts from your mind, you can lie relaxed, knowing that you're not just your body, you're not even just your mind, you're something more, something greater. And then gently you can bring your mind back to your body. You can move your fingers and your toes. You can feel your arms and your legs. You can move or stretch in any way that feels good to you. You can rock to your side and back to the other side. And when you're ready, you can roll to your side and sit up. You can gently open your eyes. In yoga, you may have heard people say namaste, which means I greet the divinity within you. And I thank you for sharing your energy with me. And Shanti, peace, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.